Welcome to the fourth episode of CGI's Transformative Talk series. I'm Jitendra Kulkarni, Senior Vice President and Business Unit Leader for Toronto Financial Services Business Unit. So today we have with us Mehul Kapadia. Mehul is Global CIO and COO of Foresters Financial. Welcome, Mehul. Congratulations on your expanded role.
Thank you, Jiten. Happy to be here. Looking forward to our discussions.
So 2024 is a significant milestone for Foresters. Do you want to start by talking about Forester journey?
Sure. So Foresters is a 150-year-old company this year. We are a fraternal life insurance company. We do business in the US and Canada and the UK. And we are the original OG, I like to call it, purpose-driven company. And so our purpose has always been from the get-go, to serve our communities where we build, where we operate in and do business in, and help our members and policyholders, with their financial needs and financial wellness, with life insurance products here in North America, and then in the UK, through life insurance as well as savings, products. So one of the ways in which we activate our purpose is by delivering member benefits to our members. As an example, one of our most popular member benefits is competitive scholarships, where members or their kids, grandkids can apply for and win scholarships from Foresters that they can use for funding some of their college or university education. And that's very important because when we are selling a life insurance policy, the fact that somebody can buy a life insurance policy to address their life insurance needs, as well as give themselves an opportunity to get some funding, scholarship money for college or university education, it goes a long way.
Yeah. And during this period, you have embarked on a lot of transformation programs within Foresters. Can you talk more about those programs and how they're playing out, like both from business perspective, what were your thought processes,
Yep.
and technology as well?
Yeah, and again, I think part of the life insurance industry is this problem of legacy systems. That every life insurance company has to deal with to some extent or the other, and so because we have products, so once we sell a life insurance policy, it can stay in place for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years even, and our systems have to hold all that data and all the history of transactions and so on. And so upgrading or modernizing systems has always been a challenge. It never makes good sort of business case sense, and so as a result, people avoid those sorts of big projects, and so the problem of legacy systems then sort of keeps getting prolonged for longer and longer periods of time. So we several years ago, this was maybe 7-8 years ago, we developed a technology roadmap, 3 to 5 years, and then we've annually updated and refreshed it. So it's sort of become like a rolling technology roadmap right now, covering at any given point in time the next 3 to 5 years. And we've been addressing core systems one after the other. So several years ago, we upgraded or modernized our commission system, which is one of the most critical systems at any life insurance company, because that's what sort of pays our agents. And then over the last 3-4 years, we've tackled even bigger, more aggressive or ambitious projects, completing a modernization of our policy admin system, the heart of our operation, the most complex project that we've done in decades, if ever. We've done a CRM, system modernization, moving from like a 12, 13, 14-year-old on-prem system to a modern system in the cloud. new contact center platform. We've actually retired our mainframe, system, which is again something that is, ambitious, fraught with risk, high expense. But we've managed to, break things into sort of bite-sized chunks, not taking on all the projects at once. We took them on at different times, but somehow, they all culminated, in the last, 12 to 18 months. So it has been a very interesting time to be at Foresters in IT especially, but overall in the business as well.
So it's a bigger vision, but as you said that you were making the time intervals like right chunks of time and executing them one after other.
Yeah.
So you talked about mainframe modernization. That is, I think, something which is faced with most of the Canadian organizations today. How did you tackle the mainframe decommissioning in this case?
Right. So the mainframe was a big part of our, our run costs. Unless we do something to intentionally move those applications, those homegrown applications that were running on the mainframe to something else, we would not be able to, move the needle enough on our expenses. So we basically, rather than rewrite all these applications, we, move them off of the mainframe onto, distributed systems. Using Micro Focus. There aren't a lot of proven sort of case studies, especially with the homegrown apps homegrown systems that we had. But that's where we took help from CGI and your experience at doing this at other clients. Relied on sort of vendors like Micro Focus, and took some deep breaths and took the project on.
So what were the benefits of mainframe decommissioning project?
Yeah, so we moved all our homegrown sort of mainframe systems, to non-mainframe distributed platform. But while so doing, so we mitigated technology risk related to this old, mainframe platform. But we also got significant, cost reduction in our IT infrastructure costs. We saved about 15% of our IT operations or run costs just from being able to retire and decommission this mainframe platform. And that's significant because, that money that we saved is now funding other new transformation projects or modernization projects that will then save us more money, and then, that will fund more, projects. So, we've created this sort of positive, cycle of savings and investment. On the mainframe, we even had, so the mainframe was in the CGI, data center. I think we had an entourage, a group that went there to actually turn the, the switch off the mainframe.
With all the graphics.
And these were people who had worked on mainframe applications for, their entire lives. And to give them, that experience was also closure, for them personally, as well as, cost savings for the organization.
The other thing which you kind of little bit mentioned about CRM moving on cloud, but I have always heard your views about cloud and how Foresters have adopted to the strategy on when you're doing this transformation, how you have moved to cloud. Can you talk about that? Like what has been the principles and how you have been executing them?
Yeah, so I think my perspective in general is more sort of practical and considering economics, significantly when I make or promote these types of technology decisions. So I think over the last decade, from a cloud standpoint, we have looked at moving existing workloads and existing systems to the cloud almost in every situation. But the cost benefit analysis has never, turned out to be favorable. So our strategy is really as it's hybrid cloud. So what we've done is we've moved, we've already moved, based on a relationship with CGI, our infrastructure is already in sort of outsourced, data centers, that are sophisticated with good sort of cost management, etc. So that happened many years ago. So sometimes these cloud migrations make sense for big companies who are running their own data centers, so they can get out of the data center business. I don't have that problem because I use the CGI data centers. Secondly, we modernized our entire sort of data center and server environment by moving to hyperconverged infrastructure maybe 5-6 years ago, and that helped us manage costs significantly, and also create a sort of private cloud type infrastructure within data centers that we control through CGI. And so first I took some cost out by going into CGI's data centers. Then while in CGI's data centers, I upgraded and modernized the infrastructure to go on hyperconverged. That took more cost out. So in that environment, whenever I compared my existing costs on infrastructure, on hyperconverged, on CGI, or in CGI data centers, the cloud option always turned out to be more expensive. And then we all know what happens 2-3 years after you move to the cloud, and Microsoft, Amazon really start managing the unit rates that they charge you. It turns out to be even less favorable at that time. So now we are actually so that was sort of how we tackled it initially. And then as we've modernized all our core systems and our applications, whenever we move to a SaaS solution offered by a vendor, we obviously automatically are in that cloud infrastructure that the vendor operates in. So we've done that with our recent CRM, on Azure with Dynamics, contact center, etc. So it's sort of a hybrid cloud approach. But now we are actually more intentionally, with the advancement in technology, we are actually now seeing that in some cases we can actually make the business case work in moving existing workloads to the public cloud, and give us good sort of cost benefit, as well as ability to get the other sort of intangible or non-financial benefits of moving to the cloud.
The elasticity and others. But when you're doing this transformation, and on one side, you have done a lot of initiatives which kind of created economy play. Like you saved the cost by moving into, you talked about public cloud, or you're talking about some of the SaaS models. So this is how you have been convincing business, because these large transformation programs, they need significant backing from the business and operations, through all the players there. Now operations is with you, so that's a different story.
Right.
But before that, so how did you get all these things together? And was this part of your story or selling?
And I like to say, like, when I have my employee town halls, I often repeat this, that I'm fortunate to work for a company, like Forrester's, where right from the board onwards, there is a lot of appreciation of technology, and that drives appetite to invest in technology. Now, the board and our CEO, trust me to manage this in a practical way, right? So I will never ever do things that are just for, doing cool things just for technology's sake. So we always do what makes sense. We are always sort of upfront and honest, with the board, and transparent. So where there are challenges, we own them and say, we live and learn. We learn from our mistakes, and we try not to repeat them. And I think that's what the business and the company expects from IT. And I think when they get it, I think it improves our credibility, and it gives them confidence to continue to invest, and even increase investment in IT. So we talked about these big strategic projects over the last few years, and they all sort of culminated in the 2021-2022 timeframe. So we were at peak spend in those 2 years, and we survived. Sometimes things take more money, and we live to fight another day. And the board has confidence, and the business is satisfied. They're getting new modern capabilities, and we get it done and move on.
So, Mehul, we are always hearing significant buzz about generative AI, how it is changing the life insurance industry, and particularly how we are seeing its adoption in foresters.
Yeah. So, many companies, including us, until sort of the chat GPT sort of catalyst, were doing certain things, machine learning, sort of the traditional AI things. So we would do some, experimentation or certain things, certain vendor provided tools or software would already have machine learning capabilities built in. Like we have a OCR tool as an example. But I think generative AI has been a disruptive catalyst technology, and in addition to having IT responsibility, I'm also responsible for cybersecurity in the organization. So when this hit, my focus primarily was playing defense. Right, my first priority is to protect sort of the company's data, or our crown jewels, as I call them. And because generative AI in the hands of bad actors, I think it's a very, very powerful cybersecurity threat. So that was sort of my mindset last year. And we took some steps to further beef up our protection against generative AI driven threats. But now we are actually starting to look at, I call it going on offense in terms of when it comes to AI, looking at real business use cases. And right now, they are primarily focused on either things that they're primarily focused on efficiency improvements, either within IT to do sort of the IT job more efficiently. Coding assistants, things like that. So that's one area. And then the other area is really business operational efficiency. So, also now part of sort of my insurance operations, responsibility. And there are many things we can do aided by generative AI that can help drive efficiency improvements in our core, business operation. So be it, helping call center agents, summarize calls at the end of each call that they right now do sort of manually, and spending, a few minutes at the end of every call, but it adds up. And we can easily replace that with, an AI sort of assisted summarization of the call, basically saving the entire time that the agent was spending previously. So these sorts of things, are what our focus is right now. And the other use cases that are external facing, where we can offer AI capabilities to, our customers, etc. I think those are probably sort of one or two evolution steps further away.
Yeah.
I think right now, we have some low-hanging fruit in, use cases in terms of efficiency. And that's what we are focused on getting those done, learning, building muscle, and then moving on to other more ambitious sort of business use cases. So that's our strategy from an AI standpoint.
No, it perfectly makes sense, like considering all the security pitfalls or how those organizations have been dealing with them. Like it's wait and watch. And also what you talked about is very important, is how can you improve the efficiencies by using generative AI. So that's
Yeah, and on AI, we will, we are a sort of a mid-size life insurance company. So don't have the deep pockets to sort of do a lot of sort of experimentation and R&D. And, we use CGI, for all our technical design, development work, etc. So, I believe that, we will not do sort of greenfield AI development ourselves. We will always rely on, AI capabilities and features and functionality in sort of the vendor provided and supported systems that we have.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we will rely on CGI to use some of these AI capabilities in making our own IT work more efficient. And so that's really where we will be. I don't think we will be developing our own LLMs anytime soon, as an example.
Yeah. So a lot of these transformation initiatives, how they have changed the experience of your end users.
Yeah, so a big focus in our roadmap has also been on digital transformation. So, back 4, 5, 6 years ago, we didn't really have much digital footprint at all. Now we have a mobile app for our producers, for our agents, where they can see their book of business, what they are selling, what is the status of their applications that they've submitted. We have portals for our customers, our members, to go in and see the information related to their policy. We are right now developing an app for our customers, end user app, where they'll be able to see what they currently see on our portal, but in a much more user friendly, modern way, on their mobile phones. So that has been a big focus as well for us. But it's I think I would say, while we're focused on those things, our main focus has been on sort of modernizing our core systems, because that has taken a lot of effort over the last few years, rightly so. And now that we've gotten those big things out of the way, we can really focus on getting more done in this digital space. But I think we've already made a lot of strides in terms of addressing sort of the digital needs and requirements of our end customers.
Yeah, yeah. So talent is a key component for any transformation initiative to be successful. What has been your strategies at Foresters in managing your talent?
Yeah, and that's been a tough problem in recent years, right? So especially with COVID, we had sort of this whole, like, a year and a half of this great resignation period, where it was very tough to retain good talent. But I think that's one of the sort of side benefits of the model that we are in, relying on CGI so heavily for the technical work, and therefore the technical staffing, both onshore as well as offshore. That we relied on CGI to manage that risk, for us when it came to the CGI team. Now, we had that, on our side as well. And in some cases, I think as a company, we actually did take some steps for those couple of years to really right size and match with the market, what the annual increases, etc., were, to manage that risk, the retention risk. But at the same time, I think we've also done things internally within the company, a better culture, more modern technology, less manual work, that employees feel more rewarded, to be doing the sort of things that they are working on. And I think that has also helped, retain talent. One of the things that I started doing when we went into full on sort of COVID remote work was starting to do, with great discipline, a monthly employee town hall in IT. So, initially it was obviously remote, but we started doing it, we continued doing it. And when we now have people back in the office, we still do it. And I think that was, so when people are not in the office 5 days a week, these sort of opportunities to meet and mingle and interact with other human beings in person, in the flesh, I think that is very helpful. And I think also promotes open communication between the employees and management, and that's a two-way street. So that has really helped in having that sort of culture still continue in the organization, even with originally remote and now hybrid sort of situation.
And I have seen you taking extra efforts in making sure that you or your team traveling to different parts of world, meeting the teams, having those interactions, and extending those town halls not for only internal foresters,
Yeah.
IT folks, but also for the other people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is, so I mentioned I do a monthly town hall, so I do a monthly town hall with my IT foresters employees. But then every quarter, every 3 months, one of those town halls, we do an expanded town hall that includes the CGI staff that are working, at foresters. And, that is also, it helps, bring the whole team together. um, it also helps propagate sort of my message and belief that the CGI team is, an extension to my own team.
Yeah.
And so, we're all one team. And I think that mindset and culture, I think, is important to me because it helps get some of these big things done. When we are in facing challenging situations, it's these sorts of cultural aspects and a one team mindset that we rely on to get things done.
And how is this global sourcing, global resourcing has helped you in tackling the talent issue, which we talked about?
Yeah. So again, we talked about the mainframe project as an example, right? So that is an area where clearly, we didn't have the expertise in house. And as we discussed, it wasn't sort of a widely available sort of set of
Yes, yeah,
experiences
yeah.
anywhere in the world. And fortunately, CGI had a team sort of in your Portugal office that had done this before. We met with them, spent a lot of time with them, did a proof of concept, and that's what gave us the confidence to actually move ahead with that project. So we rely on these sorts of specialized skill sets available either within CGI, like in this Portugal case, or with the help desk team that we have in the Philippines, with CGI. So we rely on these sorts of things to help us and augment our capabilities and get staffing and skill sets from different parts of the world in order to get some complex things done.
Mhm. So, reflecting your own journey, what do you think are the attributes and qualities of the ideal partner in this transformation, which you would be looking for?
As a customer, one of the things that I look for is like a relentless focus on my needs, the customer's needs. When I deal with partners such as CGI, and I know how it feels. Like, I've been on the other side. I used to work in consulting many years ago.
Yeah.
And when a customer sees that focus on what is needed for the customer, whether it's expense reduction, growth, whatever it is, that really is sort of the foundation of strong relationship and confidence, for long periods of time. In addition, we have now, like, for example, with CGI, it's a 20-year sort of long, relationship. First started in 2004. Some of our CGI staff are original, like, foresters employees who had moved over to CGI. One of the key success factors in these types of successful partnerships is sort of the tenure of the staff at with the vendor or the partner. And in this case, we have examples of people who have been with our foresters account as part of CGI employees for like 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And I think that's significant because with that scenario, I'm now not missing subject matter expertise that otherwise would have been internal, with foresters, with forester staff. So that is important. Treating the entire team as a single team is important, and that is not just meetings and formal things, but also informal things. The way you would sort of chit chat with your internal staff, etc. I think that has to be part of sort of our formula across the board and part of the culture. And that's what makes these tough projects and big complex projects successful.
Thanks a lot, Mehul, for all your time.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed the discussion.
Thanks for watching.